Hi, my name is Demetrina Alfieri from the Nonprofit VA. I provide virtual assistant services to nonprofits and socially responsible businesses so we can all work together to make the world a better place. And so on Tuesdays, I usually provide some tips on things. And so for the month of June, I wanted to go ahead and instead of doing posts with long captions and things like that, I wanted to go ahead and do video to talk about grant research and the process involved before actually researching grants, like the preliminaries behind that. So I wanted to take the month of June to really kind of delve deep into that, provide some information, because I found that with individuals that approach me wanting to help them, assist them with grant research, I find that there's some information that they haven't put together yet that would actually be very helpful during the grant research and grant proposal writing process. And so I wanted to take the time to talk about that here. And so for today's video, I wanted to allow this to just be an introduction and to present the question to you, which is, why should grant makers and funders award your organization funding? And so you may think to yourself, oh, well, there was a problem that my organization has identified, whether it's speaking to people in our community that have presented an issue, and so we have connections and resources, and so we want to go ahead and solve this problem. Now, it is very noble and awesome to, have the desire to solve problems in the community rather than, sitting on the laurels. You actually want to be proactive. That's awesome. That's noble. However, it doesn't stop there. It's important for us to really find out what the problem is, if there is actually a problem, and if there are effective solutions already in place to address that problem in the community. And maybe there may be solutions there, efforts there, but they may, there may be some gaps there. And your organization may be able to fill in those gaps that the other organizations may have. But in order for you to do that, you have to do some research to find out if that's indeed the case. So let me provide an example. Let's say that you were either reading a Facebook post or listening to the news or NPR, or you got an email saying that over the past 3 years, middle schools in your school district, the test scores have been on the decline for a few years. And you may be thinking to yourself, okay, whether you're already a nonprofit that serves youth, or maybe you're a concerned parent or community member that's thinking, okay, I need to do something about this. We really need to invest in the next generation. So maybe in order to solve this issue with test scores going down, we need to, start a after-school tutoring program at these middle schools in our district. And, we need to rally together, university professors, tutoring services, anybody that can perhaps provide tutoring for these students so they can get help on the subject matter, then, that'll solve the problem. And so, it's like, okay, well, let's go ahead and unpack this and see if this solution is adequately addressing the issue that you have identified. So let's say that there are 30 middle schools in your district, and you're like, okay, well, we need to send tutors to all these schools. Well, maybe there are only 5 schools that have been showing a decline in test scores, and so maybe resources need to be concentrated at those 5 schools. Or another thing could be, maybe tutoring isn't the solution. Maybe students are underperforming in these schools because they may not be getting enough food to eat before they come to school. They may not be getting breakfast because they may come to school hungry and they're not able to concentrate, and that can affect their school performance, and subsequently the test scores could be going down. That's possible. Maybe that's not the case, but in order for you to find out, you have to do a little research to see if maybe there's a connection there. Um, because maybe a breakfast program is a better solution than a tutoring program. And another thing too, maybe the community doesn't really have their focus on test scores. Maybe they're like, look, our unemployment rate has been going up over the past few years. We need to focus on that first, and we'll focus on the test scores later. That's just a hypothetical. But the point of that is you need to make sure that this is actually something that the community wants. And so maybe they don't want a tutoring program. And so basically, my point of all this is to say that there's a lot of different angles that need to be addressed when it comes to implementing programs in your community and getting grant funding and other sources of financial support to support this program, to support your organization. And so, for a lot of you that especially have new nonprofits, you may be thinking, okay, I just want to make sure, I just want to solve the problem in my community. I just want to clean up my city. There's so much litter, or I just want to help these kids do better in school. I just want to make sure that the water is clean. Like there's so many issues that you have identified because you're very observant and you are like, look, this needs to get done. But the thing is with grant makers, they really look at that type of information and proposals because just like with a business, grant makers and funders, they're making an investment in the community, they're a potential investment in the community. And so in order for them to really know that their investment is wise, they need this information so that they can know, hey, this organization has identified a problem. There's a solution that they believe will be helpful. There's evidence to show that this is a best practice, and they have the resources necessary, and amongst other factors that go into the decision. So it's important for you to gather this data, and I know data is a scary word, but it is important to gather this data and this information before going into the grant research process, because honestly, gathering this information, it will actually help you with, having a more targeted focus when it comes to the grant research process. You'll be able to find grants that actually that have a similar mission and goal as your organization. And so that's why it's important to really drill down into those details and really get a handle of that information before moving forward with the grant research. Now, because I know you want to get the ball rolling, but it's important to pump the brakes and just reflect and think about these things and do some information gathering first. And so you may be thinking, okay, that's a lot to do. I don't know where to start. Well, for the next few videos, I will be talking about what kind of information is necessary for a problem statement or a needs statement. And then I'll also be talking about where you can find this information as well. And so I highly encourage you to just stay tuned. I'll provide more information if you feel stuck and you're not sure of what to do. Because I really have a passion for the nonprofit sector, and I really want for organizations to really be the change in their community. But it's important to be strategic and effective in those efforts. And so I'll be going into that in future videos for the rest of this month. But this video is already getting long enough, so I'll go ahead and stop here. I just want to thank you so much for listening. I really hope this information was helpful. And if you have any follow-up questions, you can definitely email me or DM me, depending on what platform this is on. And also, please, check out my social media so you can find out more about the services that I offer. The Nonprofit VA on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. You can check out my website, thenonprofitva.com. And you can also email me again at thenonprofitva@gmail.com. I'll also provide the information in the caption. So Yeah, again, thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.